Yo, what's going on, man? This is your boy, Super Mario, man. You're in the yo with your boy, man. Today, what we're going to be doing is working with some drums and adding a little bit of tape flavor to it, you feel me? Trying to get more of a tape machine type of sound out of these drums that we're going to be working in Ableton with. But here's the catch-22. We're not going to just use a plugin, but we're also going to use some guitar pedals. That's the ones you see in the background right there. And we're going to take these guitar pedals and try to get like a tape machine like sound. Now, I'm not going to tell you I'm going to nail it right there on the head or get 100% there. We may get 60 to 40% there, but we'll have that flavor. And we'll compare it to an already plugin that I have inserted on the track, or the drum track itself. That particular plugin is going to be from Multimedia. It's the Tascam tape machine 388, if I'm not mistaken. But we'll take that plugin, it's already dialed in and everything, and do like an A/B comparison and see if we can get close to that, or in reverse order and see if we need to make an adjustment to the plugin and get sound out of the pedals. So we'll have to see, and we have to go through that process. So if you want to hang out with your boy, man, and go through the whole process, I guarantee you may pick up a little something. I don't know, but either way it goes, man, let's go ahead and transition into Ableton Live.
All right, here we are in Ableton Live. We have the Tascam 388 Studio 8 IK Multimedia tape emulation machine plugin right here on the screen or whatnot. Now, this is the plugin I was telling you about earlier, and this plugin sounds really good. You have a lot of flavor that you can inject into this into your signal through this plugin. What I did for demonstration purposes, so we could have something to reference off of, is that on the input fader level here, I had to bring it down just a little bit from the raw signal coming from the drums. The drums that I'm using is from Addicted Drummer 2.5, and we're utilizing the 80 pack jazz drums sticks. Okay, now the input fader, had to turn that down just a tad bit underneath the Unity, and brought the bias down to more of a degraded signal, so it sounds really dirty, but we brought that down to about like 8 o'clock. And then the record level, we brought that up a little bit at 1 o'clock, and then the high frequency EQ knob on the recording section, we brought that up at about 1. All right, and then the EQ section, the mids and the lows, we have both of those gain knobs at around about 1 o'clock. The low end is at about 80 hertz, and the mid range is at about 2,000 cycles or whatnot. And the tape formula that we're utilizing is going to be a 456 reel. All right, 456 reel tape formula. And the output, we just left that at Unity. I got a little nudge on it, but it ain't much of a difference or whatnot. We based the input fader on the VU meter hovering around about 0, so it may go past 0, it may go a little bit under the 0, but it's all good, man. This is what I'm gonna play you so you can hear the drums in its full effect with the tape machine, so we can have that reference point. All right. All right, cool. So that's the tape machine with, what we have with the drums from Addicted Drummer, and we're running it through the tape machine and everything. All right, now I'm gonna play it again, and we do have some instruments with this. I just don't have the drums. Here it is with the keyboard sound and a bass sound. All right, here we go. All right, cool. So that is the sound with the keyboard and the bass. All right, so you get a feel for how it's gonna sound with the drums by itself, and then with the instruments as well. Now you will notice that the drums, they're very dynamic, and they're not compressed, and everything like that. So if we want to make this fair, because what I'm gonna run through the guitar pedals, I'm gonna kind of squash it a little bit with some compression. So what I'm gonna do is go back to the drum track and I'm gonna add a compressor. All right, and I already have like a 1176 on here, the Rev A version. So what we want to do is just basically, you know what I'm saying, I'm gonna set everything at like a bare minimum default, and the only ratio, the lowest ratio I'm gonna use is a 8:1. Okay, so let's go ahead and get a compression on these drums and really kind of make it, you know, smack and sound dirty. All right, cool. So my computer is kind of crapping out and everything like that because this Tascam plugin, it utilizes a lot of CPU processing power. But you kind of get the drift with the Tascam plugin and the 1176 Rev A. You definitely get that compressed sound or whatnot. And yeah, so I think we got a good starting point. What we're going to do now is go ahead and disable those two plugins, and we're going to go ahead and get ready to run some signal through the guitar pedals. Now what we're going to do is already have, or you can go ahead and put an external audio effect device onto the effect strip and everything like that. And what you want to do is route your audio ins and outs by way of whatever interface that you have. So what I mean is, it's like, let's say you're going to go out 3 and 4 of your interface, go into your gear, and then come back into the interface 3 and 4. Or you can come back in on 1 and 2. It just depends on your workflow and your ins and outs and stuff like that. In my case, I'm gonna come out of my interface 7 and 8 and come back in 7 and 8. Now the gear that I'm going to run through is a mixer and the pedals. All right, so I already got the external audio effects set on 7 and 8 to come in and out, so we don't have to worry about that. Let's go ahead and look at the mixer right now. Now, as you see on the mixer, we're having our sound come in on channels 7 and 8. All right. And what I'm gonna do is set this thing back at 0 as far as my EQ section and my preamps and everything, and my aux ins and everything like that, and double check my pan knobs on 7 and 8. All right. So what I'm trying to explain to you guys is that the sound is coming on channel 7 and 8, and we're gonna pan channel 7 to the left and pan 8 to the right. So we have a true stereo sound coming in and going out. Okay. All right. So the next thing we're going to do is go ahead and have a look over here to the guitar pedals. Now the guitar pedal that we're going to be using is the Chroma console multi-effector from Hologram, an Amazon special. This is a JOYO Dual-Modulation pedal, and it's called Vision. And this is a pretty cool modulation pedal because it could do 2 different types of modulation effects, and you have this switch right here that you can go down and go up. So the up is going to be series processing, and then down is going to be parallel processing. So what that means is that effect B and effect A, you have a choice to run A into B, or you can run A and B and do the effects that you want, and then it'll come and get summed down into one stereo signal and go out into the next process or whatnot. So it just depends on what you want to do. You hear more of the effect in series A into B and everything like that. Okay, and then we're going to shape our tone with this Boss effect pedal. It's a EQ 200, and we're just gonna shape the tone and probably shape it on the mixer as well. All right, so we got everything set. Let's go ahead and start processing. Now I'm going to warn you that the JOYO Vision will give you kind of like a stereo doubled sound, just because it's a stereo pedal and you have two effect processors that can be processed independently. So it may sound weird, but you know, don't trip out. It's not your monitors or your headphones or whatnot. Okay. All right, let's go ahead and hit play, and let's start playing around on the Chroma console first. All right, so right here on the Chroma console, we have the character and the drive pumping right now. I'm going to toggle through the sweeten, fuzz, howl, and swell effects, but I don't think those other four are going to give me what I want. So we're going to have a bare minimum of amount of effect amount on the character because it's super strong, and we have a strong source passing through here anyway. So let's try to dial this in as much as it possibly can, but I don't think we're going to go past the first tick mark on the amount effects volume knob. All right, so let's go ahead and try it out. I'm gonna give you guys a little bit more volume. So I found the sweet spot right at about 2 o'clock on the tilt, and the amount effects volume knob is on the first tick mark. Okay, I'm not going to add any movement. I'm not going to add any diffusion because movement is more like some modulated effects, and diffusion is going to add some type of delay or echo reverb effect. So we're going to go to texture, and we got plenty of options we could play with in here. We have the filter. In red, yellow is squash, which is a compressed signal. Cassette, you get like a cassette sound, which is in green. A broken type of sound, like a broken vinyl record player, is going to be in I think that's like blue, and then in purple you got some interference, so it's going to have a whole bunch of weird dropouts. I'll toggle through those and see what we can come up with. All right, so that's the filter. That's the low pass, and that's the high pass. Sounds pretty sweet, you know what I'm saying? All right, so this is the squash compressed signal. So we squashing the hell out of that right now. I like it right there at about 3 o'clock. So this is the cassette sound. And I'll go ahead and solo that so you can check that out. Let me go ahead and solo that for you guys. So that's the cassette sound that we're getting. All right, and this is gonna be the broken. Oh, you hear that dip? And as we turn it more to the right, you hear the signal start doing some broken shit. And this is gonna be the interference. Now this is really trippy. And it's random. It's not set on any type of rhythmic pattern. All right, so I like the broken. Let me go back to the broken. And what we can do is the overall mix knob, we can go ahead and blend in what we have coming from the mixer. But I don't like that. I don't like that broken sound. So let's go back to cassette. Now I like that. That sounds a little bit more tape-ish, and it has a compressed sound to it. So what we're gonna do again, dial back on the mix knob. Now the mix knob is kind of, you know what I'm saying, it's playing tricks. It's almost like it's being modulated. It's giving me a weird type of sound. Versus giving me all of it. So I'm gonna back off. I like that sound right there. Sounds really nasty. Then come down on the cassette sound and see if I could just turn down on the character. All right, cool. So with the character, I don't have no, it's just passing through on the character, but it's enabled. And the crazy part about it is you're not driving a lot of drive signal in there. It's just passing through that circuit, and it sounds messed up. Check this out. So you just engage the character button and you get that drive sound. Now we do again have that tilt at about 2 o'clock, and it's really brightening up the overdriven signal. And then we have a little bit of amount of cassette sound in there, and it's giving us that tape vibe. Okay, so we're gonna move on to the JOYO Vision, and it's one effect I'm gonna use on this particular pedal. It's on the type B effect section, and we're gonna utilize the low bit effect. Okay, and what I'm gonna do is set my rate and keep my control at 12 o'clock, and the depth mix knob is gonna be at infinity, so basically no effect. All right, but when we engage it, you're gonna hear a crazy stereo field shift in the sound. That's what I was warning you about earlier. So it's gonna sound weird, but trust me, you know what I'm saying, it's not your headphones. All right, check it out. But it's an effect, and I like it. All right, let's go ahead and mix some of this low bit signal in here. Ooh, now that sounds like tape, some messed up tape. All right, let's go ahead and adjust the rate. The control knob seems like it's not doing anything. All right, so with this pedal, you have 3 knobs to kind of like dial in your effects and everything like that. But you know, with this particular effect, low bit on type B, the depth mix knob and rate knob is the only 2 knobs that actually give you the effect. Okay, and I adjusted that rate knob so that low bit sample rate-ish type of sound it's in pitch with the drums. Let me play that for you and listen real close. You hear that high pitch? All right, now let me turn it a little bit. You hear how it goes away, and then we're gonna creep it in. About right there. All right, so we did lose some volume by going through the Vision pedal. So what we're gonna do is try to make it up, and we can make it up here on the Boss EQ pedal, or we can make it up on the mixer. Okay, so we got a choice here. And I like the gain stage in series, so we're gonna make it up on the boss pedal here. All right, so let's go ahead and try to dial in our tone to try to get it sounding back like it was before. All right. Okay, so we got something cooking, you know what I'm saying? It's okay. You know, we just used the EQ to kind of give it some life because it sounded a little bit dull. Let me go ahead and go back into Ableton Live, and what we could do is rotate our knob from dry to wet and see how close in volume and how close in tone we are with the original drums, okay? Alrighty, so the drums that we have in going through the guitar pedals are definitely loud. So what we're gonna have to do is turn down the volume on the mixer. All right, so let's go back to the mixer here. All right, and let's go bring down our fader and see if we can gain stage. All right, and let's dry wet mix knob. All right, so now that we have our gain staging right there at the fader, we could do some more EQ, you know what I'm saying, on the mixer, but you know what I'm saying, that's our choice, you know. But let's go ahead and try it out and see what happens here. So I just increased the high band and the mid frequency on the mixer, and we just need to check the gain one more time. All right, so we got the gain, you know, saying relative on the mixer. It's important to get it right here at your source. You can kind of monitor your interface as a reference point, but you really kind of want to, you know, switch it back from, you know, the dry signal and the wet signal. All right. All right, cool. So now that we have that set, we are basically ready to do a comparison from the plugins and what we did with the guitar pedals. All right, so what we're going to do is go ahead and highlight our plugins. That way we can turn them on and off, and we're going to see how this sounds in relation to the guitar pedals and the plugins. Now I'm gonna warn you, the guitar pedals is probably not gonna sound good against the plugins because, you know, it's clean, it's digital, and stuff like that. But we're gonna see the excitement of it as far as like the different character and the different tones and the different tonalities of the drum signal. All right, let's check it out. So we're gonna go ahead and turn off our pedals here, and we're gonna turn on our plugins, and let's play that first. All right, so y'all remember that's our plugins. The Tascam tape and the 1176. Dry pedals. Plugins. So that's our plugins. We're gonna grab the utility plugin and we're gonna boost the signal up just a tad bit. All right, so we got that turned up a little bit. And to be honest with you, we can actually take the bass sound and make that mono. So what we're gonna do is look at this the spectrometer here. All right, let's go back to that. And we're gonna go around about, put this utility plug-in around about 170. Right there, 165. All right, let's bring that back in. All right, so this is the pedals. All right, and let's go ahead and play the drums with the plugins. All right, and this is the pedals. So either way it goes, you know what I'm saying? You know, these two processes, they really cool. You know what I'm saying? You can't go wrong with both of them. It just depends on what you're looking for and depends on the composition that you're trying to achieve. You know what I'm saying? In Ableton Live, or as making the beat or making the production, and how it fits with your other sound sources as well. So let's go ahead and bring in the instruments, and we're going to play the plugins and see how that sounds, and then we'll play the guitar pedals and see how that sounds. So that's the plugins. That's the tape plugin and the 1176 Rev A. All right, that's the dry signal. You can hear how dull and lively it is. Now here comes the pedals. In 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And so what I did right here is that, and this is why it's always good to play your sources with your instruments. I brought down the width just a little bit on the utility, and you know what I'm saying, just so it doesn't sound so stereo spread, if that makes any sense, or whatnot. But we brought down the stereo spread a little bit. Bring it back up a little bit. So we had about 15%. So it doesn't sound so out of whack. But it still pushes the drums a little bit forward and adds character to the other instruments. And that's dry. All right, now here comes the plugins. And you'll notice like the mid range is missing. So what we'll have to do is go into the tape plugin and kind of, you know, play around with the EQ section. and then bring down the high frequencies. All right, so we basically increased the mid range and then brought down the high frequency on the record section. Now we're gonna play that. All right, now let's play it with it against the pedals. Interesting. All right, here comes the plugins. And here comes the pedals. So besides that weird stereo situation and whatnot, the pedals actually bring a little bit more liveliness and a little bit more character to the actual drum signal. And the plugins, it's just kind of like, you know, you have to mold that sound, but it sounds nice. It sounds cleaner, and it has the right stereo image to it, or whatever the case may be. But I am running through some guitar pedals in a weird configuration, so that could explain the reason why it sounds the stereo field sounds weird and it sounds like it's phasing a little bit or whatnot. But other than that, though, you know, hey man, sounds pretty darn good and stuff like that, man. I have to tell you, yeah. So hey man, so that is it, man. I showed you guys both processes utilizing the plugin and also with the guitar pedals as well. Hey, drop your preferred method in the comments, you know what I'm saying, if you like the plugin format or the plugin process or the guitar pedals process. Either way, man, let me know what you think in the comment section. And also, if you got any questions, man, feel free to drop it below in the comment section as well, man. Hey, this has been your boy Supa Mario, man. I appreciate you rocking out to the end of this video. If you like this video, go ahead and hit a like here and also subscribe to the channel for more content like this, man. Until next time, man, stay creative out there, man. And you know what I'm saying, do your thing, experiment, and come up with some cool sounds, man. This has been your boy Supa Mario, man. We out of here.